Quando arriva l'ora non hai bisogno di chiedere e non hai bisogno di risposte. Quando arriva l'ora è soltanto il momento. Non sei mica in ritardo. Non c'è ragione di credere. Fai la conta se vuoi e poi salta. Siamo fatti di carta e per un po' si vola. Quando fu il suo momento, il suo attimo, lo decisero solo le stelle. Fu l'amore con tanto di fuochi ed un lungo becco di cicogna. E quando invece di spaccare il secondo venne fuori senza lacrime e il sangue che gli fai non respiri le note che ascoltava nel blu della pancia e si vola. Quello mio non è pronto, sarà qui con le nebbie d'inverno. Forse io l'avrò intuito, sarà improvviso per protrarsi in eterno. Come dire che muoio da vivo e qualcosa di cui già mi pento. Allunghiamo la vita un minuto e sarà quello alla fine il momento. Il momento. Ecco arriva il momento, prepararsi e poi prendere il treno, va più in fretta di quello in ritardo, non decido è soltanto il mio tempo, la mia vita è decisa all'istante, e fai la conta se vuoi e poi salta, se mi piace perché sei un gigante, bella e dolce ma non è importante, è un po' si vola.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio with Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith, the mother-daughter travel team and publishers of the digital interactive Big Blend Radio and TV magazine and Parks and Travel magazine. You can see them both at bigblendmagazines.com. And you just heard Echo. And now we're going to Brussels, Nancy.
Good.
Brussels, right? To
Let's
chat
go.
with a multi-instrumentalist, Italian multi-instrumentalist, Emiliano De Ferrari. And Echo is from his third album. The album is called Monty, and it is available now for download and streaming on all major digital stores. Go to monty.hearnow.com, and it's MONTY, monty.hearnow.com. You can also go directly to his website, emilianodeferrari.com. Emiliano, welcome. How are you?
Welcome. I'm fine. Hello. How are you?
Hello. Oh, doing good. It's so exciting to have you on our show. And did I get your name right? Am I close?
Yes.
Yeah.
You did it you said it right. And it was very nice and very fun to listen to my music on the phone. It felt like being on a waiting for a guy at the call center, you know. And it was lovely but waiting, listening to my own song. That was fantastic. It's a dream actually come true.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to listen to your music and play it here on Big Blend Radio. Listening to the album Monty, I feel like you go into a dream when you listen, and then I feel like I'm at a theater, or watching a movie, or watching a theater production, and because it feels like there's a whole orchestra, but it also feels very, very personal, and it feels like someone going through change, and there's some dark parts. When you have to be, it's like when we have to sometimes look at the mirror and look beyond our skin, and you have to go inside and see things that you don't always want to see, but the music makes it that you can. Did that make sense?
I appreciate that. I like the description of your let's say way of listening to the album, and that's, I would say, exactly what happened. For me to conceive and to write and to record the album, and even to let it go out and release it. It has been an adventure, which implies a nightmare as well, but very interesting and nice and lovely path in it, and it is very difficult to talk about this, to talk about my album, especially because not all of you can speak Italian, at least in that part of the world, but even here, where I am now, because I'm in Brussels, and most of the people speak French in here, and some in Dutch, and But it was actually the first time in my life I decided to write in Italian. So it's very strange. I had to move to go to another country to start writing in my own language, let's say, in my native language. But it was part of it, because it was really a kind of trip into my own let's say ghosts, things like that. And it also was I had to do it. It was something that I had to do it to go deep into this and to put a light on those dark parts of myself, to find then a balance. Trying to go up, to rise, and find a balance, because when you meet your nightmares, it doesn't really happen that you win. It's just you just understand that you have to live with them because they are part of you, and so you have to find a kind of balance. And I think you can hear it in the album. That's probably why you have this idea of looking at a comedy or a movie.
Yeah. A theater, not the comedy is more of you're laughing. This to me is very personal. I don't, because I don't speak Italian, so not understanding the lyrics, but you can feel it. And living in different countries throughout my life as a child, I was always listening to music and to this day, Nancy knows, as we travel, I always listen to music. I have no clue what anyone's saying. I listen to music from around the world. I can't pronounce the band names. I don't know who they are. I just really like it because, I like lyrics. I love words. I love words. However, there is this different way of listening to music that you don't know the words, and it really comes over through feeling. There's an energy, there's the sound,
the mood,
and the instruments that you have in there. That's why I feel like there's an orchestra, because, and it's very well balanced in that it's not too much. And when you have a lot going on in a song, to make it where you can understand the melody, but hear these different, it's like the instruments are telling me the story, but then your singing is the ship, the ship that's sailing those waters, but the instruments are like, now this is happening over here. Oh, we're looking on this side of the ship now. Oh,
Well, thank you. Actually, there's actually a choice that I made some years ago when I decided to write my own music and to produce my own albums, which was playing all the instruments I could play. Well, I'm not a virtuoso in probably any of them. I was just training guitar, and I used to sing a lot during my life, and I started playing live quite soon. But I mean, I haven't been trained in drums or piano or bass or whatever, and saxophone. But the point is that it was important for me because it is somehow challenging, but at the same time, it lets me keep the focus on very simple thing and on the message I want to convey. So I don't lose myself into strange virtuoso things. I just go directly to the point, straight to the point, which is something which is actually related to the meaning of the album and to the kind of journey I was making. I was realizing that I was too mental in my way of looking at life, because I have the tendency of giving answers to the things and to the problems I have, and it's quite easy for me to give many answers and to make things right. Okay, but then I realized that those answers were not the correct ones, and there was something deeper that I had to feel, and I couldn't feel it with the mind. I had to feel it with my body, with the vibrations. It's more related to energy, and that's actually what I did, and if we want to talk about the album, dividing it into parts, you will find that the first part in which there is this slow and very dark descent, but then there is something that there's the fact that I realize that that I have to, they have to change the way of thinking, or somehow not thinking but listening to myself, to my body, to my vibrations. Then you can feel the second part, which is another kind of fight, which is a more positive one, which is the fight for the balance of yourself. Okay.
Yes, I like that, and the balance is you can't find balance until you have that honesty, right? There's that honesty, and that means you have to look at it all. You can't have balance without looking at the big picture, and then it becomes, the big picture becomes smaller. When you
maybe.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the name of the album, Monty. Isn't that your recording studio?
Yeah, well, actually, yes. I called it Monty just because it is not far from a big square in Brussels, which is Square Montgomery. They call it the French way, but it's actually Square Montgomery. And so the nickname of Montgomery was Monty, and so I decided to give the name of my studio Monty, and then name the album this way, because I didn't want to. There is already a lot into it, into the album. There are many stories and things to know, and then so I decided, well, the name of the album must be very easy, and it doesn't have to mean anything more. No, other structure pictures on it. That is just the name of the place in which I used to write and record my songs. And in fact, also the cover of the album is just a picture of what I see from the window of my studio. That's it.
Oh wow!
Although it was made by a great Italian artist, which is called Pietro Fortuna, and I was so lucky to meet him. He lives in Brussels too. There's a lot of interesting artist thing going on in Brussels at the moment. So it's it's nice. You find a lot of very interesting people from all over Europe and very renowned artists or young and incredible artists. And so I had the chance to have the picture from him. And
nice.
I think it doesn't have to say nothing more than that. I mean, this is me.
You want to know what's going on, though.
Of a window.
When you look at, you want to know what's on the other side of the window, though. It makes you curious. What's in there, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it makes you curious. Yes.
Yeah. You know that. I mean, it doesn't invite you. You don't say, I will find something, beautiful inside those windows because they are dark and so. But anyway, you are curious and you want to get in. You want to see.
You want to know, good or bad, what's in there. Yeah.
Yep.
You always want to know what's in your neighbor's house. You kind of know. It's true. That's human curiosity. So Brussels, did you move there because there's creativity? And it's very interesting because we never hear that much in regards to the arts in Brussels. I know you lived in Rome for a while, but what was it that you said, hey, I'm going to Brussels? Why not?
Well, I've always made some strange choices. Actually, I've also lived for a period in Iceland, in Reykjavik. So,
oh wow!
Wow.
Well, sometimes it's not because you are searching for something particular, but it's just, for example, regarding to Reykjavik, it was the farthest place I could reach with a with a grant at the university. Just apply for these European grants, which are called Erasmus, in which you can just go and study for 1 year abroad. So I just chose the farthest possible destination.
Oh wow!
And I was there for 1 year. Yes, it was 20 years ago actually. But then I moved to Rome. Well, all the rest of my choices, geographically speaking, was a mix of love and wish to change and finding something more interesting and more stimulating. At that time, when I moved to Rome, I liked Rome first because I still think it's one of the most beautiful. Probably the most beautiful city, at least the most beautiful city I've seen in my life, and there was a good music movement, and I thought it was good for me to go to a capital city, and I just moved there. Actually, I didn't really find probably what I was searching for, except love, but that love was already found. So it was already found before moving. So
it just grows. It grows.
Yeah, exactly. And then, the choice to go to Brussels was, it was again a mix of interest, my interest, my wife's interest, and the fact that Brussels is basically, even if not legally speaking, actually the capital of Europe, Europe, which we hope will last, because we are not always sure that it will last forever, because there are some kind of forces trying to convince the people that the idea of Europe was wrong, and it's better to stick to some nationalism, old style nationalism. Which is something that I really don't like. I know that the building of Europe is very difficult because it's it's small, but it's made of very different culture, even if with a lot of links and connections through history. But we have 25, 26 languages and sometimes different interests. But culturally speaking, staying in Brussels at the moment is the only place in which you really feel European, and I feel European. And I feel European. As you know, here in Brussels, there's more than it's around 60% of people living in Brussels are not Belgian. So they're basically foreigners, and that's a good feeling, especially in a place which is not enormous like London can be or Paris. It's a relatively small capital city, but crowded of people from all over Europe and also the rest of the world. So it's quite stimulating in that sense. And in the last year, it has become, especially for visual arts, an important center, as it was Berlin some years ago. And it's very good to stay here and to partly follow what's happening. But naturally, you cannot follow everything. But it's just nice the feeling to stay here, close to many things that are happening at the moment, and that's a good feeling. It's already 3 years that we're here, and I think it was a good choice.
That's good. To me,
that's nice.
And I think moving and staying in a place. I know even when we travel a lot, but when we travel, we're very slow. Because you want to meet the people, eat the food, you want to know what's going on, you want to know what it's like to live there. So we stay in a place as long as we can. Sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's 3 years. It happens, and it's about learning people. You can't always watch what's on the news. You want to have the conversation. You want to see how they live and why. And I think that's really it's exciting about what happens in cities like Brussels and Rome and places here in this country, like San Francisco and New York. It's a pulse. It's like a heartbeat of what's happening around you. Do you think that touches on your music? Do you get creatively inspired by being in new places and being in Brussels?
Oh yes. I mean, I'm not the only person saying that, but the place in which you are affects your music terribly, and the city you are, the country you are, the culture, and even the place in which you record your music. That's why I wanted to give importance also to what I saw in front of my window. And well, speaking about Brussels, yes, I mean, for an Italian moving to Brussels, it can be hard. Basically, I mean, for very stupid and things like you don't have the great food you have in Italy, and especially because I mean you have the things that they grow in Italy, like tomatoes and zucchini and things like that. I mean, these are the things that they are the good ones. The ones that you find in Brussels are not that good. Because they are in the north, but that affects a lot, the life of an Italian. Even if you want to be, posh and I don't know, I want to be the cool guy. But if you are Italian, you will feel it. You will feel the difference, and you won't like it. And the same thing goes with the weather. The weather is not at all the same. But the point is that at the end you you don't get used. You never get used to this bad weather. But it affects your life and your music a lot. And it doesn't affect your music negatively. It just affects your music. Your way of thinking, your way of feeling changes a lot. I wanted to give some clue of my well, so you can feel sometimes some sounds that I wanted to put in the album that reminds brasses. For example, there are often during the songs the sounds of brass, and those brass sang in this way, a bit slow and a bit sad, like that remind me a lot of brasses, of the way of the cloud, of the thick clouds that you find on your head, beyond your head every morning, and even every night. But you always find them, except in these days, which are fantastic, I would say. We're having fantastic sunny days now in September. But anyway, the average is those thick and gray clouds, and the brass to me were exactly a good description of that, and they also reminded me of some symbolist artists, painters, Belgian painters, of the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th, like James Ensor. I remember there was a painting which was I don't know how would I say it in English, but it's just the coming of Jesus Christ in Brussels. There's a kind of parade of Jesus Christ coming, entering Brussels, and there are some figures at the side of the painting of just a band, just an orchestra playing brass, and I remember seeing this, and so probably I was also affected by this, wanting to put brass on the songs. But in general, in the album, there are many, there are different instruments which describe different state of mind, or just they have a role in the play, let's say.
I wanted to play Monty because that also has a little bit of sounds of Brussels, right, inside Monty for people to hear.
Oh yes, actually, because in the background you will feel just the sound of a tram, actually, because I decided to record what happened when I was on the tram heading to my studio, actually, and so I wanted to put it in the background of this song, which is actually probably the only song in which the guitar is prominent. Actually, it's a classical guitar piece, and that's it, with some field recordings of tram stations, and that's it.
Well, let's play it. I want people to hear it.
Please, go ahead.
Here it is. Everyone, we're going to play Monty, and it's the title track of the album. Again, you can go and get the album. Go to monty.hearnow.com, or you can go to Emiliano's website. Go Emiliano De Ferrari. I don't want to forget how to pronounce your name. I'm going to say it over and over. But here it is. Everybody, enjoy Monty, and we'll be right back with Emiliano. And there's the tram, everybody. You just heard Monty, the new album by musical artist Emiliano De Ferrari, who is based in Brussels, Belgium. And he is from Italy and Rome. He lived there in Iceland. And apparently while in Brussels, you take trams, not Ferraris, right? Is that right?
No, exactly. Exactly. I do take trams and sometimes the bike.
That's good. That's good. That is such a beautiful song. I love the guitar work on that, and I love hearing the tram in the background because it makes me feel like you're on a journey. You're traveling, right, Nancy?
Yeah, it's like you got on the tram and a little ways down the line, a really pretty lady gets on there,
Ooh.
sits across, but maybe a little further down from you, and you're trying to make up your mind whether you should go talk to her or not. That's my story for that song.
Wow.
Great.
Haha. Hey.
A nice one. I take notes.
But I feel like your music really belongs in a movie. I know some of your music has been in movies, right?
Yes, especially with my musical colleague Matteo Naum, who actually mixed this album. And we share another project which is called Nanaue, and we had an album. We toured a lot in 2014-15, but then we are actually recording the second album. But in 2016, Matteo was invited to write the score for an English movie because he's a good. He is a good professional film scorer. He was trained in Berkeley, Valencia, the European side of the Berkeley College, and he was trained in film scoring. So he got this movie to do, and at a certain point they wanted a song for the movie in a particular moment of the movie. It was quite pivotal, let's say, and so they actually asked us to do the song, and so we made it, and it was actually a success because at least we have feedbacks from the people going to the cinemas and festivals in UK, in Belgium, and somewhere else in this last 2 years, and when they listen to this song, they just like because the movie is a good movie, but also the song helped, I think. And you can find it online. There is the video clip on YouTube. But the song is called "As Love Is Naked," and so I really love
hanging in there.
To play. And the movie is called "Hanging in There." Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And I love playing for movies, and we actually have plans to do so in the future.
Nice. Emiliano, the other thing is you're producing your albums on your own label, Ratzburg Records. So where's Ratzburg?
Well, to be honest, it was a strange, fake translation of an Italian name of a place in which I used to record music when I was. That was in Genoa because I come from Genoa, you should know because it's the city where Columbus was born. So
yes,
and that place was called Borgoratti, which is kind of the burg of rats or things like that. So I just sketched a fake translation of that name, and that became Ratzburg. And at a certain point, I wanted to start. This was in 2004. I decided to make my own label to produce my music and the music of some mad friends producing music which couldn't probably find a spot in majors.
Yeah.
and that's it. It was called Ratzburg. It's not a very inviting name as well.
I think it's funny. I like them. Like, where's Ratzburg? And Genoa.
Okay.
Genoa. How do you pronounce that properly? Because we have Genoa in Nevada, here in Nevada State.
I know, because when you search for Genoa in Google, sometimes you find your own city, which is in Italy. Sometimes you find some other city in Canada or in the USA. So
yes,
I knew that. It's called
we've been to Genoa. We've been there.
In Italian, it's Genova.
Genoa.
And Genoa.
Some people here say Genoa, and we've been there, and it's a very small western town, and it is where the Pony Express used to deliver mail. The Pony Express, have you heard of the Pony Express? With the guys would ride their horses from Missouri to California, and this was a major place of where they were at the Pony Express. It was Genoa, and we went there just because of that. And it's pretty. It's a nice town. Beautiful area with a lot of birds and
flowers
and mountains where you can see snow if you're there at the right time of year, and there's wild horses nearby. It's very nice. It's very nice. So next time we go there, we'll send you a picture.
Sure. Because our Genoa is a completely different thing. It's an old and noble maritime republic, in the Middle Ages and in the Renaissance, and it was also it has still a big port, and it also had industrialization in the 20th century, etc. But it is famous for its enormous historical center, medieval historical center, for its big harbor, and it's famous because it gave birth to Columbus, and also because there the first banks were formed, and we actually financed Genoese banks financed all the expeditions to America,
Wow.
They financed the Spanish, and in fact that thing let Genoa become extremely rich. The point is that then Spain didn't give back any money to us.
No, they came here and they tried to take America over. They were here where we are now. They tried to take us over, and they did for a bit, and then Mexico said, we're not having that. So Mexico said, we're taking it. And then America became America, and America said, we're taking it.
Yeah,
and everyone's still fighting over it. So there you go.
The
Texans. Blame it on the Texans. Oh, it was good. But yeah, so isn't that amazing? Because it's interesting when you think about the money part of it, financing these expeditions, and over here, even where Genoa is in Nevada, part of where the Pony Express Trail was, there's also the Wells Fargo with these stage routes, and they were funded through the Wells Fargo bank now, which this bank now, they stole a bunch of money from people, so they're in trouble now.
Okay.
I think all banks are in trouble. Nothing's changed, but it has been so much fun chatting with you. We want to play, now I'm going to see if I can get this correct now, Fuoco.
Yes, Fuoco, which means fire. Actually, it's the last song of the album, and I think it is it has a very important place, let's say, because it's really the end. It's really the sense of the album, which is all about finding that famous balance we were talking about before. And in fact, there is a play of words between the word vuoto, which means emptiness, and fuoco, which means fire. And the song says something about the fact, this tendency to wanting emptiness because you are so full of things and different forces that you have inside. So sometimes you think you want it to be empty without anything. You don't want anything. You don't want to be loved. You don't want to be, neither pushed, whatever. But then you realize that inside yourself there is a fire, and you want that fire to grow. And so So the solution is finding this balance between what you have inside, outside, and the forces that push and pull you. That's it.
Wow.
That's Wako.
Right.
And actually, yes, you will find it also musically, because there is a strange tendency in this song to have different notes crossing each other from higher notes to lower notes. But on the other side of the monitor, you will find other instruments playing other notes from higher notes to lower notes. But the result is like an horizontal song, especially because of the rhythm and because of those drum machines playing, which are kind of mantras. Those kind of mantras that we use to keep the balance. We were talking about balance again. I do meditation, even if I'm not very disciplined, but and I find it very, very useful. And that song, with other songs in the albums, just testify how difficult it is to meditate when you have got different forces inside yourself going left or right, up and down, and you just want to find a balance, and it's very difficult to find. That's basically the meaning of the song.
Yeah, meditation, it's like everything. Oh, you need to pay this bill. Oh, no, wait, is the dog out? No, what happened here? Your brain, when you try to meditate, everything wants to say, oh, you're trying to slow down. We're going to jump in. No, get out. I want to meditate.
That's exactly
Meditation is not easy. It is not easy, but it's something important. I've learned I can meditate better if I'm walking, because then I'm doing something, but then I'm probably not meditating. I don't know. I don't know. But meditation it's so important. We need that for balance in our lives, That's a good word, balance. We like that word around here a lot. But we're going to play Fuoco, everybody. And again, keep up with Emiliano. Go to his website, emilianodeferrari.com, and also you can download the album and listen to it on all the different streaming platforms. If you go to monty.hearnow.com, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You can also buy the CD. There's the possibility also to buy it in the States via probably those big retailers that I cannot name because and
CD
and
Baby.
Also the CD Baby is not that big retailer. I was meaning other bigger ones, but CD Baby is a good one we can name, and so you can buy it from there. And soon you will have also the possibility, especially for people for collectionists, you have the possibility to buy the vinyl. I made a small run of numbered vinyls, so maybe
nice.
you like. Actually, the album was mastered by a great guy from Brooklyn, New York, Nate Wood. He's very famous as a bass player and as a drum player. He plays in the jazz scene and he plays all over the world. But he's also a great engineer, and he mastered a lot of great albums. And I was so lucky that he accepted to master my album. And we have different masters for the CD, for the downloads, and there is a special master for the vinyl. So, I mean, it's worth trying if you want.
Yes, and everyone. So you can also, if you're in Europe too, Bandcamp.com. You just look for emilianodeferrari.bandcamp.com, because I know we have listeners all over the world. You can go to wall.cd-click-europe.com for the LP, and but CD Baby, and it's all over. So go get it. And sit down and enjoy it. Just you go into a zone. Just to sit down, have some good wine, and listen to it. Yeah, just a little wine. Yeah, and eat, and make sure you eat tomatoes and zucchini. And then you can have waffles for dessert because you're in Brussels. I have to say that you can have waffles too.
Sure.
You have waffles too. I want to thank Emiliano for joining us, and also thank you to the National Parks Arts Foundation for sponsoring today's segment with Emiliano. The National Parks Arts Foundation, they take artists, musicians, writers, poets, filmmakers, dancers, you name it, and you submit to be one of their artists in residence so you can be in a national park for an entire month to create. And that's all you do for a month is create places like, I know, see,
nice.
Emiliano, I think you should come here.
May I apply?
Yes, yes, it's international. Yes,
I
they
will.
have. You could go to places like Dry Tortugas. You can take your wife if you do that. Dry Tortugas.
Sure,
it's
and
an
my
island.
son too.
Yes, you can take your family. Yes,
Yeah.
they have Hawaii. They have New Mexico, Gettysburg. Yes, the website. I will email it to you as well, Emiliano. The website, everyone, is nationalparksartsfoundation.org. And what happens is people get this. If you sign up for their email, you will get the opportunities, and you need to apply immediately because this runs on grants, grants from people, different foundations. And when those opportunities come, they go fast. So you want to sign up for the newsletter and follow them on social media. Again, the website is nationalparksartsfoundation.org, and anyone from around the world can apply. They've had people from England, all over, come in and do these artist in residencies. So Emiliano, you should do it. Yes, you've got to come over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
Thanks
everyone
for the information. And thank
you for
thank
joining.
you very much for having me, for bearing me for a long time tonight at least here in Brussels. And thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to having the opportunity, to talk about my music. And it was a great pleasure to share ideas and thoughts with you.
You too. Thank you. We've had a wonderful time having you on the show and speaking with you and playing your music. We're so glad to know about your music and who you are. And thank you for teaching us about the different places you've been to as well. That's been fascinating. So excited. We're going to play the last song. Here it is, everyone, Fuoco, before I forget how to pronounce it. And don't forget, keep listening to Big Blend Radio. Go to bigblendradio.com. You'll see our schedule, and you can listen to shows as they go live or anytime on demand through all the different outlets. Here it is, Fuoco. Thanks, Emiliano. You take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.